Everybody in Sigley. Sean and I are here today with a continuation of our topic from last week, which was traveling food, staying healthy while you're on the road. So we talked about some things last week. And so this week, John and I are making things that I feel I like to bring a big dish that's already cooked and frozen and use it as my ice block. And so these are dishes that could freeze, but you'd have to boil the pasta wherever you go. So I'm assuming this trip would be like a camping trip or a trip to an Airbnb or VRBO, or you're going to make your dinner when you get there. So I'm doing a soy curl chicken cacciatore, and John's doing
a boscaiola, which is a Hunter's dish made with a vegan Italian sausage and mushrooms.
okay, excellent. I'm just throwing mine in to get it started. I'm just gonna saute up my onions and peppers. So the end. Now you can take it over if you like.
So
And I'm
I will two words.
okay. I do. Okay, yeah. There you go. We're in. Thanks.
Go when you have a stove.
Okay, gotta have it done. So by the way, on mine, it said to put oil in it, but I didn't. I'm gonna use red wine in my dish. So I took a page out of John's playbook and got these little tiny Sutter home wines. And because then you can always have them for cooking instead of opening a big bottle of wine, or if you don't always have wine laying around. I actually usually do, but I'm using these today. And so I'm sauteing a little of this. What? I got it at Rayleigh's and it was $5.99 for 4 little bottles. Oh. Which is probably more expensive than anywhere else. And I thought that was kind of cheap. So mine, who's had chicken cacciatore before? I haven't had it since I was little. You know, when I was little, our neighbor was from Italy and she always made the best chicken cacciatore. I made chicken and everything. So this one's using those soy curls that John always tells everybody about. And they're so yummy and so easy and very low process. It's just soy flour. And so we're going to use those instead. Okay, John, sorry. I started talking again. Yeah, chef, yeah.
So I'm gonna start by getting the mushrooms rolling. Just gonna cook up the clear. And I think what I'm gonna do, in spite of what the recipe says, I'm gonna throw the vegan sausage in with. I just want to get, there's a certain amount of fat in here, and I want to render that out.
Which sausage did you use?
This is called field roast Italian,
That's my favorite.
and field roast, this is not wholly sinful. In addition to the protein things like seitan, they have potatoes in here, and thyme, and some rosemary, and salt, pepper, things like that. So I'm going to give that a few minutes to go. And how are you doing?
Well, mine, you're just supposed to saute for about 5 minutes until the onions get kind of translucent. And thank you to Leanne for slicing everything today for me. And thank you to Sharon, who made an emergency trip to the grocery store because I completely forgot to get the mushrooms, which were a big part of the dish. So while we're kind of just sauteing, when I'm done with this, I'm going to add my garlic and something else really important, and my mushrooms, I think.
You sauteed them in water?
I did water, a little water, and a little wine. Because the wine's going to be in the recipe anyway, so what the heck. So that's what I did. I didn't use any oil. I always wonder, and John, you probably know this, if you start with mushrooms, they release water.
Exactly.
But they always have mushrooms further down the line in the adding list.
Well, go figure.
I know, go figure.
They also talk about frying mushrooms, and you have to have really hot oil to get a mushroom to fry without shedding water.
Yeah.
And to say a crispy mushroom, don't try that. That's a waste of time. They're just they're cooking them so they're mushrooms. It's nice, they're a flavor addition. Crispy should be something else that you throw in.
So I added my garlic and now I'm adding my mushroom. It's gonna be another like 5 minutes or so. So we talked last week, a few people, I see some new faces that weren't here last week. Does anybody have any trips planned? Any country? Okay, do tell, Kevin, where are you going?
To, trying to think of the name
Moscow.
now,
The Pyrenees?
Pyrenees, yeah, but it's, the Basque region of Spain
Oh, okay,
and Bordeaux region of France,
all right.
and then maybe the London.
That's gonna be awesome.
Mm.
And you know, in the Pyrenees is where that Camino de Santiago starts. That I would like to, that Camino de Santiago, that
Yes,
big long,
that's across the top
pilgrimage.
of, my niece actually did that walk.
yeah,
She read the book on the woman who walked the Pacific Coast Trail
uh-huh,
and wanted to do that, but then it was so crowded. She didn't enjoy that first leg of the experience, so then she rethought it and then went to Spain and then walked that one and really enjoyed it.
Ah.
Crowded.
the PCT was crowded?
PCT was, Where you s-
Well,
if you start at the southern end down in the Los Angeles area, you're gonna have a lot more people. Well, it was just after that book came out, too, so there's just a
I
lot.
can believe that, but I can't believe that Camino de Santiago is in crowded.
I think it does get crowded
It does
too,
get crowded.
especially with
And she said
all the hype.
because she didn't have any trouble with the
Finding spot.
Finding spots.
Oh, that's
to sit.
good.
And she traveled by herself, so, she was concerned about her safety, so
That's good.
she was able to get,
How long?
oh, it's 500 miles, I think.
Yeah, it usually is about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So that man from the Renaissance, Linda has it recorded, Ken Fox, Ken Cross, Ken Cross. He did a talk, he did the whole thing by himself, and his presentation I thought was really great. You should go look at it. Linda will have it recorded. And he just did it from the perspective of all the people he met, which I thought was really cool the way he did it.
He did another one, a 3-week trip,
Did he?
which he's probably just not getting back from.
Oh, there?
Yeah,
Portugal, did he do Portugal, you think?
I don't know, I didn't.
That's what a lot of people do, is then they'll do Portugal. I've only done a little bit of Portugal.
She,
And I'm also gonna share Tom Griffin is on a cruise right now and went to Portugal and was bragging how he did 3 miles of the trail.
Oh, you know, whatever you can do, that's fine. That
He was
is
very proud
fine.
of that he did 3 miles of it.
I like that.
The other guy did 400.
Okay, so I'm just doing 5 minutes. So Don, how are you doing?
Okay, I just put in the mushrooms and I'm gonna throw in some red pepper flakes. You can be generous or not.
Oh, your onions were quartered? I mean, sorry, your mushrooms were quartered? Mine were sliced. Were yours quartered or sliced?
Quartered
Okay,
Yeah, that's
Just
why.
wondered.
or 16,
16. Okay,
because I had a sharp knife and a little time.
okay. Okay, so mine are getting kind of soft. I think that's all I need. Let me make sure. They release their juices, they're tender. Now I'm gonna stir in my tomato paste. Who here has ever used the squeezable tomato paste? Isn't it the best invention ever? You guys, it does work on pizza. I love this stuff because normally it's a 6-ounce can of tomato paste and you only need 2 tablespoons. And so then I'm always measuring out more tablespoons. I'm putting them in the freezer. So you just squeeze it out of here. So I'm adding that. That's my next step.
It's good too.
It is good.
How long does it last?
A long time. You keep it in the fridge.
You keep it for
This one, I just bought it recently. And it goes till 2027.
It actually, once you get used to it being there, you start using it in things.
True.
It becomes, it's like, oh, it's almost gone. Gotta get another 2.
And you're right.
I usually buy 2.
So you need to squeeze from the bottom like you do a toothpaste container.
Yep, depending on how you squeeze your toothpaste.
That's right.
Now, if I were doing tomatoes in here, I would use sun-dried tomatoes. And I wouldn't use the oil So I would just get them, you can get them in bulk,
The
the
dry one, that's a good
dry
idea.
ones.
Yeah.
Because then you get these little pots of tomato.
That's just next to the tomato sauce.
Yes.
On the aisle.
Yeah,
Uh-huh. Yeah, I found it often in my Rayleigh's, it's like on the top shelf. So I think I got this at Winco. I save these kind of things for Winco. And it's more than buying the little 6-ounce containers, but it's so helpful.
so I.
Okay, how are you doing?
I've thrown in the wine and we're gonna cook this down to almost dry. So this is a medium high heat. The temptation to just sort of fire this up, but. You don't want to do this. And also,
Smell the wine, I'll wait that.
it'll help with lunch.
That's right. Okay, I think I'm looking pretty good, so I'm gonna add my wine. It only calls for half a cup, you know? Half a cup for this, half a cup for you, whatever you do, no judgment. Okay. And then I'm just gonna let it cook a while and it's gonna pretty much cook down, just cook off. So there won't be as much liquid. And then I'm gonna add, I've got my tomatoes. These happen to be on sale, these San Marzanos. And they're usually kind of expensive. And I usually get the Cinto brand of them, but these happen to be on sale at Rayleigh's today. It's the Nob Hill brand. And they were whole, so I poured them in this can and used my scissors to snip them to make them into dice. And then I'll add my soy curls. And the soy curls, in case you haven't heard it here enough, they are dehydrated. So this is what the little bag looks like, soy curls. Butler makes them. John gets them like in bulk,
I'll get the case.
just a case. He's very generous handing them out. So you have to rehydrate them. So basically you just put them in a bowl, pour boiling water on it, a tablespoon of soy sauce or aminos, those Bragg's liquid aminos, and just a quarter teaspoon of liquid smoke to give them a little meaty flavor. And you let that sit for 10 minutes. I let it sit actually forever. And then you strain them and try to press all the liquid out. John has a really cool thing. You use your nut bag, right? Or something. And he squeezes it all out. Oh,
Well,
We've lost,
uh-oh. Uh-oh.
what happens when we lose the camera? Did you guys lose your heat too?
Yeah.
oh,
Are
So
we-
is there much to plug in?
I don't know. We usually separate. Did we not separate? Are we using the same plug?
I know, I've been.
this one is from over here.
Like, so.
Let me see. Where's the?
No,
I don't-
a service.
Yeah, you're from over there. I don't know. Linda,
Yeah.
we've lost power.
Those are-
No, we're debating that fact. We don't think we did
Well, what can I say?
Slightly rain.
They went down.
because he's using the cord from over there.
And got the-
We thought that was legal.
No, that's going to the TV.
Oh,
So we are.
then we did blow it. Literally.
Several years. So we were in
Well,
2015.
While we're killing time, let's keep talking about travel. Okay, so you got a big trip. Anybody else?
No,
Going anywhere?
I was gonna add on his thing, because there was a movie with Martin Sheen.
The Way.
That's right, yeah.
Loved that movie. No other trips?
No travel.
No travels. Okay.
I
So,
am.
He and I have been discussing things about traveling, like things that you bring. I like to bring something like this that's been frozen. I use that block of ice to keep my cooler cool on the way there, wherever I'm going. If you're camping, it's fine, then your dinner's ready, you just have to heat it up. But in this case, we'd have to boil our water. But if we are going to, hey, I'm back. Thank you, whoever did that. John, you're not back yet. Okay.
Just try turning it back on. Is your heat back on?
Mine is, but John's is not yet.
So just to remind you,
Linda's thinking, how many times have we reminded you?
You can only have one thing plugged in here, one thing.
We thought we were doing it right,
Well,
because he thought his was going way over there.
So easy.
no.
As it turns out, it wasn't. That was our bad, as they say.
One of the easy things.
That's how the kids say it, our bad.
So how did you get it back on?
We are alive.
And
Okay,
we're,
thank
Oh,
you.
oh,
Okay,
I now know which is the right circuit.
Oh, oh.
so John, you were talking about that ramen. It's like a healthy
Yes.
ramen.
There's a, well, I see it at the co-op, so I'm assuming that it might be available elsewhere. It's a stack of 4 ramen bricks in a bag that is lentil and brown rice, I think, no, millet,
Millet.
lentil and millet. And if you went on a trip with that container, a bag of soy kernels, and then we have a container of powdered baked chicken bouillon called consomme. It's something you see in the Jewish section of Safeway. You can make chicken soup. And so you have these sort of dry ingredients, and then any veg that you come across, whether it's spinach or peas or whatever. It's, if you remember stone soup from your youth, you understand the soups, if you start with this, you can add it, and then it'll be increasingly happy. When my daughter was in college, she had those things in her dorm room, and when it snowed, and being from California, you see that kind of snow. I think it might not be worth walking all the way across the quad to get dinner and come home. She would have soup. So that would be among the things that I would bring with them.
That's a fun idea.
Going past.
And John reminded me of a fun snack. So we talked about trail mix last time. And you can make your own little combinations of whatever you want using cereal. And he talked about one with Rice Krispies. He reminded me of those wasabi peas. Those are a fun little snack too to have with you. Okay, all my liquid is cooking up. And you know, it smells really good. And it's starting to look good. Okay, what do you add now?
So I'm putting in the porcinis that I hydrated. I'm putting in the broth that I used to hydrate. This was boiling water, now it's the broth from the mushrooms, and I'm going to decant and not put in the grit at the bottom. There's some grit there.
We can run it through a paper towel. and get it wet.
But then you have to wait.
Right,
You
through
know,
a
this
paper
is-
towel,
this is
okay.
Hunter's food, you get,
Hunters don't mind a little grit.
Right.
Of the grit and everything.
Yeah, I know, you're right.
so
Hey, John, does your brother watch the videos?
I have no idea. We never talk about that.
You should send him a video.
It's online. I don't,
Send him a link.
I told them they exist. Didn't tell them when or if I was on them. That's for them to find out.
So my wine is just about gone, so I'm gonna add my diced tomatoes. Hand diced. And then it also calls for salt. I'm not gonna use salt because you know what I am gonna use are the capers. Who here likes capers? Yeah, you know, John and I were talking about it. I don't know that I ever noticed capers. I feel like when they're in things, they're salty and that's all they have going for them. What do you love about the caper?
They taste good.
Yes, okay.
They're not
That's-
as pickly as pickles.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. They're not
Sometimes a pickle
pickly.
can overpower a sandwich, so.
You're
it's just
right.
nice, nice, like if you got something mild. Tasty.
Yes,
You don't want to overpower.
okay. Well, we're doing it. We're adding our capers.
So I've just thrown in the spinach and the parsley. Warm that up. Spinach is an add-in. The original recipe, you wanted just the mushrooms and sausage. But
Why not?
since I've
What the
I've
heck?
been eating here, green, oh, it's a green.
So my recipe also calls for Italian seasoning. And so I'm gonna do that. I like, John, do you do exactly the same, the amount that they say of a seasoning?
The first time,
I tend to double it. I feel like it's never enough.
What is in Italian season?
And what's in it? Well, let me tell you, because it says if you don't happen to have any, then you use, to make 1.5 teaspoons of Italian seasoning, 1/2 teaspoon of thyme, oregano, and rosemary.
Oh,
So you could really make all these yourself. You don't have to buy the combo one. So I like it that it told us that, and I tend to double my seasonings.
so I'm gonna add cashew cream here. And we're essentially done with this. Oh, except for the rule on spinach and also with cream, that you always put in nutmeg. And it's not written down anywhere officially, but there's just something that nutmeg does that makes them ever so much better. When nutmeg interacts with
Well, what kind of cream is that? Is it dairy?
cashew cream.
cashew.
How do you make the cashew cream,
Yeah.
John?
Remind us of that.
Well, you can make it, the simplest one is 1/2 cup of cashews, 1 cup of water. If you have a high power blender, you just throw them together, spin it up to high and you're done. If you have a normal, the one that my mother had, the osterizer, you would soak the cashews or bring them to a boil and then cool so that they're soft and then blended. As you will find a recipe in Oshie Glows that gives you a sour cream recipe that I like. That uses lemon juice and apple cider vinegar and a little salt. And then, of course, I can't leave anything alone, so I throw in, because I want a cultured sour. I'll throw in a teaspoon of yogurt, non-fat yogurt, that's got the live acidophilus. And not being satisfied, I will also use a 1/4 teaspoon of the probiotic, like the bacillus powder.
So yeah,
And then I put it out on the table, and the next evening, I'll put it in the refrigerator and it will be sour up. And you get a nice, it doesn't taste lemony sour or cidery sour, it tastes sour cream, sour to cream cheese, so. And because it's cashews, it will, as it gets more sour, it will thicken up. And keep the skin on it. See, 180. So this is essentially done. We'll get the nutmeg on it and then we'll be set.
Okay, I've got to put my soy curls in. To let it cook a little. So here's my rehydrated soy curls. Might be too much. It calls for a batch, which I assume is a bag. I don't know, I'll be curious if this tastes anything like chicken cacciatore that Mrs. Martini used to make. So then another thing, so you get wherever you're going, you have your frozen dish. This will freeze very well for like, it says like 6 to 8 weeks. I feel like things go for a lot longer than that, but it's up to you. Yeah, I think that's all we need to add there. And then maybe you boil some noodles. So we have two different kinds of noodles today for your tasting pleasure. They're both gluten-free. This one's made from chickpeas. And this one's made from cauliflower, lentils, and peas. So this one's pretty high protein compared to this one. Has anybody tried either of these? You tried this one? That's the only one I've tried too. It's 11 grams of protein. Yeah, it's still pretty good.
What is the carbohydrates on
It is 35 grams.
it? Kind of high.
Well, not really, not compared to 45 grams for regular pasta.
Okay.
This one has 5 grams of fiber for what they call a 2-ounce serving, which is a fourth of this box. This one has 13 grams of protein. I'm surprised only 4 grams of fiber in this one. I
Huh.
thought this one would be less.
The chickpeas are a bean or a,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they have lentils and peas,
Hmm.
but also cauliflower flour. So it was ground up. Oh, how many spoons do I have? Okay, so I'm gonna let this one cook a little bit. I also thought when you get to wherever you're going, maybe you're gonna want to have a salad, right? So I just brought a bag salad. So you can get the bag for whatever flavor you want. I happen to pick this one today. It's Mediterranean. Since to go with it's not gonna go with a hunter. A hunter wouldn't be caught dead eating this, I'm sure.
You know,
But
you know what
That's weeds, they're eating the weeds.
yes,
a bad hunter is? It's a vegan.
a vegan. So when you give me just a couple minutes, because you can come up and taste just the soy curls alone if you want to do that. Oh, thank you. So when you get these, what's the problem with them? What? I don't think, I never wash them. Are you supposed to wash them?
no.
No.
uh-uh.
It's they
Half
always have
air.
seasoned dressing. Like the poppy seed dressing. This one has the balsamic vinaigrette, but do we need all that oil? No. So if I was traveling and bringing a salad or gonna pick up a bag salad, I would always have some vinegar. So I would probably just use that and that would make me happy. If it doesn't make you happy, I also made a really quick little dressing that 3-2-1. 3 parts vinegar, 2 parts Dijon mustard, 1 part like honey, maple syrup or something. This one's an easy one that you could bring with you to make. And then I just throw the cheese away. And I'm sorry if you guys aren't into that. But I throw the cheese away.
Can't you buy them without cheese?
Not in these, there isn't a single one that doesn't have cheese. I looked through all of them.
Wow.
Yeah, they all have cheese. People want cheese on everything. When did they start putting cheese on every salad known to man? I don't understand it.
We found out it was addictive.
Yeah, they did. You're right. It is a little addictive.
Oh, they wanna get some protein, I guess, and just eat a salad with cheese.
Yeah, I guess you're right. You could do that.
So I went to Indianapolis for an event and I wanted to eat, stay on the diet. I went to a restaurant. I looked at their salads and they were basically kind of wilted lettuce, lots of cheese and lots of dressing.
Aha.
That's their idea of a,
That is their idea of a salad.
yeah, it wasn't great choices.
So these little things that are in it, let's see what these are. These little sticks. These are herb seasoned flatbreads. I'm gonna keep those on the side. If you'd like to put those in your salad, feel free. And then I'm gonna put a little of my 3-2-1. Now, I also happened to be turned on a cooking channel yesterday. And they were talking about salad combos, and I thought this would be a great one for travel. One is you buy the box of spinach, you buy the box of cut up watermelon. And they put feta cheese on it. I would actually just buy a box of tofu and sprinkle that on. But what else could we do? What would be a quick salad that you could buy just a box of mixed greens and throw something on easy without even chopping? What could you do?
I buy those, party platters with vegetables.
Party platters of vegetables, okay.
Put those up in salad.
Okay, that's a great idea. Okay, that's a nice idea. I like that. Paul was showing me last week, he liked the Taylor Farms. They're the little, almost like a party platter of little veggies with a hummus in the middle. Because often you have the ranch dressing in the middle, and if you're like me, you throw that away. So you can do hummus. You can also use hummus as a dressing. So you go to the store, you buy the salad, you buy the hummus, you have your frozen thing that you're gonna just reheat in the microwave or wherever, and you've got a nice big dinner that just saved you about, I don't know, about $50 a person pretty much to go out to dinner these days. Okay, I think I'm pretty done. Let me rehydrate or just heat up my noodles again.
Bragg's also makes a really nice apple cider vinaigrette.
Do they?
Yes.
I do I've got one of those that's got pomegranate. Squeezing. There's a pomegranate vinaigrette essentially.
Mm.
That's very good, and you don't need the oil in it.
Mhm.
It's very flavorful.
They use pomegranate vinegar.
Yeah, it amounts to that, yeah. But then I also have a container of pomegranate vinegar sitting in the back of a cupboard. I'm trying to convince myself that it's okay to try it. I'd much rather use the pomegranate concentrate. Because it goes into entrees, the vinegar is salads. In my house, that salads up to
Where do you get pomegranate concentrate?
KP International.
Is it that palm stuff?
Hmm?
Is it palm?
No,
No?
I know there's a boutique one at the co-op, and it's a little teeny bottle for 2 figures. And you can get 12 ounce, 10 or 12 ounce bottle for $7 at KP. And it's just pomegranate concentrate. So one of the things we got last year was an infuser to make sparkling water. And one of the things that I might try is make the sparkling water, put the pomegranate in there. And is it Campari or something, whatever that pomegranate bitters is, just because it's bitter and a refreshing beverage. There again. Vibrate. On a hot day, when you can put that in series.
Yeah, if you should put some sort of cool refreshing drink that would make a nice alternative.
Okay. Oh, good idea. Okay, so this one is the cauliflower. And this one is gonna be the chicken. They're both gluten free. If you think, oh, his flavor's okay, but I don't know, it's a little chewy, that could be because I had to cook it first, so it would be ready. So don't hold that against it. We'll let you do a little taste test of these. We got a little taste test of the soy curls by themselves, if you'd like. We got our little salad. And I think our chicken cacciatore is done too, because this was supposed to cook for about 10 more minutes. And then it said to add just a little red wine vinegar and some pepper. Whoop, that might have been a little more than a little.
Well, if you ever watch Julia Childs, she always had a lot of.
That is very true.
And then she always ended with woo-hoo-hoo. Maybe that was after she took the sip of wine.
That's
right?
good.
Yeah.
I know, I should have just guzzled this down like she would.
Yeah.
She took several sips. She did. You had to love her.
I like to put in wine. I can put some of it in food.
Yeah.
Okay, John, what do you think? Think we're ready?
Yeah, I think so. I'm just loosening this up.
Okay, thank you for that place. Okay. Any other travel ideas? Anything you do that you love to bring along with you?
Favorite stuff,
What?
your favorite stuff,
Favorite stuffy? Stuffing,
stuff, you know.
stuffed animal, to cuddle.
I didn't know they were called that until my nephew had children. And we did photos of the kids with stuffies.
Oh, stuffies, okay. All right,
All their beasties are on this.
all right, so I think we're ready.
Okay, so this would fit in a 1 gallon storage bag, once it cooled. One thing about cashew cream is that it seizes up, so you can add water to it and it will relax. And as you heat it, as it cools, it's going to seize up again. So don't be afraid to add water to loosen it up. It can extend.
It doesn't just relax when you heat it.
You know. It's
Ferment.
I mean, I've made this probably 6 times now. And I keep hoping. And usually the next day you've got a little left and you just warm it up in water. One thing to know about starches, and this is something that I learned about a couple weeks ago, is that when you cook a starch, it blinds, or it makes the starch accessible, but then when it dries, it crystallizes into a resistant starch. And when you reheat it the next day, it doesn't relax it all the way to where it was. So it becomes resistant. And if you let it wait for 2 days, it's the same thing. So you can, if you may do a big pot of rice and you warm bits every day to get your week, it's more and more
Yeah,
resistant. So,
that's right. Yeah, I always have to sprinkle water on the rice after.
yeah, and even warming it up with the water, it won't bring it back all the way. It'll bring it back some, but it will be more starch or more resistant starch, so the glycemic changes would be different. Well, this food is hot, and you know the chance of a lifetime is upon you.
Come on up.
Did you find that movie?
Yes.
What they said there's someone with the same name. But there's no things, things that.
Which can, you know.
I cooked it for
it's not
well over
separated.
its time.
Yeah.
I've never seen you guys so slow to come up to get this. Come up.
So,
Oh, no, they're getting old.
So,
They're getting old.
yes, thank you.
yes, you're welcome.
First one up here.
Yeah.
Oh, good.